The second day of Trump's trial, as it happened. Today is the second day of Donald Trump's criminal trial over a hush money payment to the porn star Stormy Daniels. Trump is facing 34 felony charges related to a $130,000 payment that Michael Cohen, his former lawyer and fixer, made to Daniels to prevent her claims of a sexual encounter with Trump from becoming public in the final days of the 2016 presidential race. The trial is expected to take 6 weeks. Pecker's involvement in Playboy model's story. David Pecker has been asked about Karen McDougal, a former Playboy model who has said she had an affair with Trump for approximately 10 months between 2006 and 2007. Pecker said that Dylan Howard, former editor of the National Enquirer, came to him in June 2016 after hearing through a source that McDougal was trying to sell the story. Pecker said he contacted Michael Cohen, who assured him the story was false. They agreed they should investigate McDougal's claims and sent tabloid reporters to California to interview her. The publisher said he began speaking to Cohen several times a day about the McDougal story and sensed Cohen was being pressured to bury it. Cohen suggested around that time that it was not safe to speak on the telephone, so they shifted communications to the encrypted messaging app Signal. According to reporters inside the courtroom, Trump's body language shifted when McDougal's name was mentioned. He stared directly at Pecker and whispered with his lawyer Todd Blanche. Judge Juan Merchan has called time for the day. The trial is not sitting tomorrow, and Pecker will continue on the stand on Thursday. We would have published after the election. David Pecker told the prosecutor that if a story about Trump fathering a child out of wedlock had been proven, he would have published it after the 2016 election. If it was true, it would be our biggest seller since the death of Elvis Presley, Pecker said. He previously said the claims were 1,000% untrue. Dino Sajidin, the source of the story, would have had to pay the National Enquirer's parent company American Media Inc. $1 million if he had violated the terms of their contract. Doorman's story about Secret Child was 1,000% untrue. David Pecker told the court he instructed Dylan Howard, then National Enquirer editor-in-chief, to negotiate a figure with a Trump Tower doorman for exclusive rights to the story that Trump had fathered a child. They eventually agreed to pay Dino Sajidin $30,000. The jury was shown a non-disclosure agreement that he signed. The Enquirer then hired a private investigator who found the story was 1,000% untrue, Pecker said. Even so, they agreed to pay Sajidin to prevent him from selling the story to another outlet. Pecker testified that Cohen told him the boss, as he referred to Trump, was very pleased with the outcome. Trump Tower doorman's story caught and killed. After a brief pause in proceedings, David Pecker is back on the witness stand. He is being asked about the former Trump Tower doorman Dino Sajidin, who tried to sell a story to the National Enquirer about Trump fathering a child out of wedlock in 2015. This was the first time the alleged catch-and-kill scheme hatched at the August 2015 Trump Tower meeting was put into action, prosecutors say. Pecker testified that he immediately called Cohen, who told him it was absolutely not true, but that he would look into it. Trump appeared to be irritated by this testimony, shaking his head and leaning back in his chair, according to reporters in court. At least 6 people have been arrested after violence broke out at a St. George's Day event in central London. The Metropolitan Police earlier released footage showing a group of men, some draped in St. George's flags, clashing with officers in Whitehall. A man was arrested on suspicion of animal cruelty after a police horse was targeted on Whitehall, the Met said. Another man was arrested on suspicion of being drunk and disorderly. 4 more arrests were made outside a Whitehall pub, 1 on suspicion of assault and 3 on suspicion of assaulting an emergency worker, the force said. Shortly after 2 p.m., the force posted on X, "The event is not due to start for an hour and regrettably officers are already dealing with disorder. There is an area allocated for this event in Richmond Terrace. This group went past it and continued up Whitehall. When officers formed a cordon and asked the group to turn round, They reacted by violently forcing their way through. Mounted officers intervened with horses to restore the cordon. The disorder was broken up, and the Met said there have been no further incidents since that altercation. The Met had said an order was in force in Lambeth and Westminster, giving officers the power to require the removal of face coverings after it said several people were seen to be wearing masks. It added a Section 60 order was issued allowing police to ramp up stop and searches. St. George's Day is celebrated on April 23rd every year, honoring the patron saint of England.